Welcome, everyone, and welcome to the Paranormal Pride. I hope everybody's having a good holiday season. And to go along with that, we brought you a gift of a wonderful guest, and I hope that you'll enjoy her as much as we do. Mary Speza and us have been friends for, I can't even tell you how long for sure, but we've all been volunteers at McPike Mansion for many, many years. Going back to beyond when Coyote Chris was still alive, for those of you who knew Coyote Chris, and Jerome Minks, who's also passed, and Tiffany, who was also another volunteer that's passed away. Mary was very good friends with her, and that's pretty much how we met Mary, was through the unfortunate passing of Tiffany. At least that's how I can remember it. I don't know. To be honest, people, this is going to be the first time I get to talk to her without somebody yelling my name every 5 minutes.
Denise.
No, don't.
Hey, Susan and Mike. Hey, there.
And let's be honest. I love every minute of my name being yelled out at McPike Mansion. I do. I really love every minute of it.
Denise.
So I'd like to welcome Mary Speza to the show.
Hi, how are you?
Well, am I lying?
No, we have like 5-minute snippets of conversation.
Yeah.
I mean, this year I had more time than I've ever had.
Hey, Chris.
Yeah.
But you saw the minute I showed up.
Yeah.
And it's like I'd never been gone.
Oh, I know. It's every year too. It's just every year. It's either you or Bethy or Sharon or whoever they're yelling for.
Yes. So I'd like to say hello to everyone in the chat room. Hello, Dara and Stephanie and Crystal, Tom, Susan and Mike. Is there anybody else that I missed on there? Nope. Actually, you probably know almost all of them. Almost.
Yeah.
You met Tom at the camp out this year.
And, okay.
You've met
Dara.
Dara.
Mm-hmm.
You saw her lose it when we pulled up.
Yeah. Those are your daughters, right?
Yeah. That's what Beth said.
Girls.
Beth said, she goes, "You have more paranormal kids than anybody I know." Because we went back Saturday after the camp out.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the Friday after and the Saturday after, and we took our friend David Glidden and Charlie, which you've met Charlie because he camped out there before with us.
Yeah.
And, they came on Friday,
Mm-hmm.
and on Saturday, Susan and Mike came. So, needless to say, I was on the phone with Sharon a lot that week. So,
yeah.
And with Denise, there's a house for sale down the road. You guys ought to move.
I'm surprised you didn't tell me I'm looking for a place.
Are you looking to buy a house though in Illinois?
I can't. I would if I could, but
but think about the tax situation in Illinois.
It's better than Missouri.
No.
No. Okay.
Much higher. So, you're better off in O'Fallon, Missouri than you would be in O'Fallon, Illinois.
All right. I'll take your word for it.
Take my word for it. Plus, you can have your guns.
Yeah. I don't have guns. That's a personal thing for me. Not really a political, but that's a whole other ball of worms. So
well, stay where you're at. You're probably safer.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I know that you're not political. So
I try not to be. I just kind of
did go there.
I let everybody talk and say what they're going to say, and I listen to everybody's views on everything, and then I just kind of do my own thing.
That's what you're supposed to do.
Was there a house for sale on that street?
Yeah, there was like 3, and there's little small bungalows, and
Sharon said,
yeah, she wants us to live close by.
Mm-hmm. We all do. She had to go and move to Florida, so that's on you. But whatever.
Let's be honest. Do you know that it was Green Flag Day today at the beach? It was 7. We woke up and it was 69 degrees.
Well, pin a rose on your nose because it's cold up here.
And well, we've had to cover up our plants because we keep getting frost warnings. But
Oh,
but yeah. I mean, it's gotten down below freezing a couple times, but that's it. They're talking about us being 15 degrees below what we normally are, and it's like,
yeah.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
We have a friend from Missouri. He lives in Arnold. He's visiting right now down in Panama City Beach.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, you picked the coldest time. You picked the coldest time to come. It's never this cold. And he goes, I know. He goes, but it's still better than Missouri.
Right. We had a 4-degree wind chill the other day with a 40-degree temperature drop overnight. So, yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
That's what you were telling me when we were yapping. And
yeah.
And he arrived the next day here. So
lovely. He dodged it, I guess.
Yeah. Hopefully he gets at least a couple nice days at the beach before.
Yeah.
Chicago's. Yeah, it's supposed to be cold.
So
it's colder probably than here. So.
Oh yeah. So how did you get involved in the paranormal?
It was Tiffany, of course. She was the first one to bring me to McPike. And the first day we were there, Chris actually was standing on the left side of the mansion where the sunroom is. And I was just kind of doing my rounds, looking at the place for the first time. And I mean, I had kind of played around with tarot cards and stuff since I was like 12. I always knew at some point I had some sort of gifts, but I just didn't really have like that much of information to figure out how to find it, you know? And I came around that corner of the house and Chris was just standing there and he was kind of asking me, you know, what do you think? Blah, blah, blah. I was like, I don't know. I watched shows and stuff about this stuff, but I don't know if I really, you know, feed into it or anything. And he told me to look up at the window where Sarah's room was. And he's like, what do you think about that room up there? And I was like, I don't know. But when I looked up, I got a hell of a headache. And he's like, huh. And I'm like, what does that mean? He's like, I think you're a lot more sensitive to this than you want to be right now. And then he just walked away from me. And I'm like, what does that mean? Like, he just, it's That's kind of, you got exactly, you got to figure it out for yourself. So he's kind of the one that put that little bug in my ear about exploring different things I might have going on psychically. And ever since then, I've been researching and I've gone to McPike every year, you know, and I've had the experiences that I've had there that really opened my eyes to what it is I can do and way more into the paranormal field than I thought I would ever be able to go into rather than just being an investigator, but also as a medium is a whole different world. What did you say, Dan?
Yeah, like Tom McNicholas says, that's Chris.
Yeah. Yeah. Chris was we didn't really have like super close relationship, but I did love having him at the campouts. And it's like, we didn't need to be close to have that unspoken, you know, he was kind of like teaching me without teaching me. It was very cool, the connection that we had. It was very interesting.
So what year?
We were all pretty busy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially Sandy. I mean, I got a read for her a couple of times outside of the campouts as well. And she's kind of guided me in a few places as well. So those guys, I kind of considered my psychic parents in a way, because they were like sort of giving me the stepping stones and the teaching me how to trust myself with it.
Was this your dad's first time at the campout?
No, it's his second. He came a few years ago and he really enjoyed it. The first year, I think it was a little bit after Tiffany had passed, and we brought her outdoor lodge. You know, that huge setup. So every year after that, he's like, if you're bringing that tent, I'm not going because it's too much trouble.
Well, the thing is her tent doesn't go up right ever.
No, it doesn't.
And I know that Ron and I get to be tent consultants a lot. But But there have been times that people have said, I need help with my tent. And we stop what we're doing and we go and help them.
Exactly.
We couldn't help with Tiffany's tent.
Right. You needed like 4 people to help with her. To give you guys some context, those of you guys that are watching, it was called an outdoor lodge. Literally, Tiffany did not camp, she glamped. At one point, I think we had a little chandelier to hang in there.
Yeah.
Like, this is the type of setup that Tiffany was extra to the extreme. So it was just so fun because everybody would be talking about our tent every year when we went.
Yes. They'd come over. Did you see that tent? And I just go,
right by it.
I go, yes, I've seen it. Have you been able to look in it? No. Somebody threw up. I got to go deal with this. Or,
I know.
I mean, and the one year that somebody threw up, you want to hear what's really funny? I had the foresight to bring cat litter with me.
Oh, gee, I wonder what tipped you off.
I have no clue because I brought it to use because we have our own porta potty.
Uh-huh.
So that we don't have to leave our tent after we go to bed.
Right. Because it's cold sometimes.
Yes, it is. And it's cold enough in the tent. But we would bring our own porta potty. But this time we didn't bring our porta potty. But that time we brought the porta potty. And I said, I'm going to bring this so that it can absorb some of that and make it easier to throw away. Because we always throw it away at some gas station after we leave. We never leave it at McPike. Yeah. And then we ended up, that time we ended up not even using it. But like I said, somebody threw up and right near the food. So
no.
It was a kid.
Of course. It's always a kid.
It was that last camp out that we did that was public.
Yeah.
So for those of you who are listening, this camp out we're talking about that's at McPike now is by invitation only. Mm-hmm. You have to be invited and then it has to be approved by the owner of McPike Mansion.
Mm-hmm. She calls, I think she started calling our group the diehards around year 5. I think that's what she calls our group. I can't remember.
When did you start going to McPike? Do you remember what year it was?
I think it was 2006 or 7.
Yep.
Yeah.
We were 2009.
Okay. And then I skipped 8 because I was pregnant with my son, and then every year after that. So
we had a long time of memories. We remember McPike when it was falling apart.
Yes, the sunroom wasn't there. The doors were off. I don't think she even had the doors at that time.
She had the doors, but they were they were inside.
Right, and they needed all the old windows were still in there, but they were all broken, and it was you couldn't even stand on the porch actually. Because that bottom step was so bad, and then you couldn't even peek in the door because the floor wasn't reinforced. I mean, it's been a long time.
It is, and it's amazing seeing all the work that Eric and Claire.
Oh my God!
And not to mention Sharon and George. I mean, I know that George is not healthy enough now to do it, but he was physically doing all of that stuff, taking care of the yard as well as the honeydew list with all the dogs and cats. And I'm just amazed at how much stuff that they got done.
Oh yeah. It's really awesome to keep seeing the updates on Facebook. Like every time Eric does something, like I think 2-3 years ago he did all 50 windows in one summer. Like he's a freaking rock star. And then Sharon and Bo getting up and cleaning out the rooms on the 3rd floors, and I mean, just incredible. It's such a small crew of people, and they're doing a lot for just the little amount of help they have. I wish I could tell more, but
they had to clean out. They had to clean out the bottom room, the one when you go in on the left. They just cleaned that out so that they could work on that floor.
Yeah.
Luckily, it was after the season.
Yeah. Yeah, they finally cleaned out that room. You can get to the sunroom, and just recently, and then like a couple years ago, they cleaned out the room to the right so that they can have the little gift shop set up in there. So it's actually a pretty cool idea. I like it in there.
I will say I am most excited about the fact that we don't have to put up Jerome's giant tent for 2 hours and take it down for an hour and a half and try to remember exactly how we put it up and took it down.
2 hours, I wish.
It took us
Every
I wish
year.
every year. And like I said before,
We used to have the camp out every 6 months, and then
Yep.
every time I'd say I'd help them put it together, and I'd say, "Oh, I'll remember it next." No, I'd never.
You never do. That's what me and Tiff would say every year, and then every time we still needed your guys' help to mark down.
But we had so many good memories.
Me and John would go, "Yep, we're going to remember this next time." Yep. Never could.
I remember Jerome.
Of course, he put it up. I don't know. Probably said sometimes 2 or 3 times a month by himself.
Oh yeah,
so
he had a system.
He had it memorized. He knew.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He had a system to it.
Yeah, we probably should have come the week before, put it up, take it down, put it up, take it down, and by the time it comes to do the actual camp out, we'd be done. But
did some dry runs.
But I am really glad that we're not utilizing the tents. The only thing is it would have been great to have had one this last time because everybody thought that our food was their food.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I think the thing is like the food that's for the campers, we'll probably work out a different system next year because people show up to something that's an event and they see a table full of food, they automatically assume. So we should probably put it like in a different area next time just so that it doesn't get confused.
The other side of the tree.
Yeah, the other side of the tree.
Yeah, where tents are opened up towards it.
Yeah, exactly. Like we should come up with some kind of schematic for next year.
That or we're going to need a really long extension cord.
Yeah. I actually brought extra extension cords just for that purpose, just in case we needed them, and we wound up needing them. So
but we'll have to think long and hard before the next one.
Some people go to the camp out and they just hop on a bus and just randomly go wherever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That reminds me, on Friday night when we came, when there wasn't a camp out, we were there, and Sharon invited us to hang out, and Ron went down in the basement, of course, with everybody, and I ended up talking to some lady about her haunting there in it's called the Purple Martin House.
Okay.
And she had her house investigated by Bo's Boo Crew.
Okay.
And she was having stuff happening again. And she came over to see if anybody happened to be at McPike. And Sharon goes, talk to Denise. She'll help you.
Yeah.
That's her go-to response for everything. I think I hear that phrase more than your name being called out every time the camp out.
And so I get over there and I'm talking to the lady, and everybody goes for Sharon to give her talk to. And David and Charlie are there. Charlie's been there, but David's never been there. So they're listening to all the history and stuff. And I get this lady, and I'm talking to her, and she's giving me all the information that Bo and her crew got. And I tell her, I said, I'm sorry, but I don't live here. I'm not even in the area. If there was something I could do, I would. But I will make sure that I reach out to Bo, tell her that you came here trying to reach her, and I'll have her reach out to you. So I thought that would be the best way to handle it because I didn't want to tell her something different than what she'd already been told.
Right, exactly. And that's hard to do.
Yeah, and was I going to tell her something different? That's a whole other thing.
Right. That's so tricky when you're consulting with different people as far as like having your places investigated, because it depends on what type of investigation do you need? Like, what do you think is going on? Like, Do you think it's a spirit of a loved one? Do you think it's a poltergeist? Do you think it's something else? Like, that's the hardest thing to figure out and how to determine in the first place, because then you need to figure out which one to call.
Yeah.
And then you
As
get
far as this
different.
woman was concerned, it was a family member. She kept
Okay.
saying it was her husband's mother. And it's like, without me being there, I can't tell her anything different.
Right. Right. I can kind of, the more I keep working with my gifts and figuring out how to tap in with people, I can actually, this actually happened over the summer with a place I went to go investigate in Vermont. I didn't want them to tell me anything about the property, not one thing. It's supposed to be a historical, like McPike. And I was like, don't give me any information. I just need the address so I know how to get there. So beforehand, I had asked Spirit to, give me a tour so that I kind of knew where I was going when I got to the house. And I freaked myself out because it's the first time I'd ever done that. And I went in and I just walked right through the house like I knew where I was going. It's exactly what they showed me. So it was very interesting to experience that. And it was very cool. So when people are asked, like when I do parties for people, mediumship parties and that kind of stuff, like when I'm speaking to one person in particular, the spirit, like their spirit person will walk me through where they left something or tell them to look here or blah, blah, blah. And they're like, how do you know that's where it is in my house? And I'm like, oh, your grandma just told me. Like she's, it's like they're just sitting right here telling me where it is. I can't tell you how or why, and I can't make it make sense unless you experience it for yourself.
Yeah.
So,
and what people don't get, that one-on-one is different than 1 on 30.
Sure is. Sure is. That's kind of why I stopped doing readings online, because there's so many people tapping in at one time and coming in and out. There could be thousands of spirits in my house within an hour. And then it's just it's overwhelming to sort all of that energy out and try to determine who I'm speaking to at one point. And it's just so tricky. And if my energy is not right, I'm not going to give you the best reading that you deserve. So my energy hasn't been right for a minute because, everybody goes through their tower moments and shadow moments and things of that nature. So when I come out of that, I'll probably start doing like pre-recorded readings and putting those on my YouTube or something. And then people can reach out if they want private readings. The group stuff is just so overwhelming for me right now.
Well, when it comes to social media, you could be picking up anybody who's looking at that post right then.
Exactly.
Well, if you're doing a reading on somebody, they could have 10 or 12 people in the background, and they may not be, you can't see them, but they're probably
exactly
there.
Well, not just having family members hiding in the background. Each individual person has between 30 to 40 people on average that come in from the other side wanting to talk to me. So one person, I'm getting bombarded by almost 100 spirits just from one person. So, because, over your lifetime, you lose several people. And then you have your ancestors and your spirit guides. Like, you don't realize how many people are actually connected to you from the other side that each person comes with. So just one person can wipe me out, depending on how many people they got with them at the same time.
Let's just hope none of them are singing Henry VIII.
Not that I've met yet.
Yeah, just for those that didn't get the reference, it's from Ghost. But
yeah,
because I can just see. But I really wish somebody would do that to Whoopi. Payback's booger. But one of the things, not only do you have the person that's there in front of you and the spirits with them, plus the other 30 people that are alive. So do this exponentially. Then you also have these people that they're projecting something as they're doing their scrolling. You don't even know who these people are. They don't know that you exist, but it all happens. And I know that I've had people ask me, will you do a reading? I've done a total of 6 readings.
Your entire life.
Great. Yeah. I mean, they're good.
Mhm.
They're
Mhm.
all perfect.
Yeah.
And I've done really well. But I
Mhm.
don't want people to look at me and go, she's a medium. She's a psychic medium. She's an evidential medium. I don't want to have a label on this. If I have something to say, as you've seen, I will just say it.
Right.
And
Right.
even when I have people telling me, no, 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 that can't be, and you were there when I asked the spirit, what song from the 1970s or who did they like from the 1970s, and Elvis Presley came out.
Mhm.
Other people did not want the spirit to be from the 1970s. They wanted to be from the 1870s.
Right.
And you can't control who's where.
Yeah, that's the other part of why I don't like to put it out there to do, because it's not so much like you, where I don't want to necessarily be called or labeled a certain type of psychic. It's people are like, okay, I'm going to come to you on this date and I want to speak to this person.
It doesn't work that way.
I can't really control who comes through. We can set up a meeting for that day, but then again, my energy may be off that day, or because not every single, you can't schedule when spirit's going to want to come in, and you can't make it happen the way you want it to happen. So I'm like, we can do a reading, no problem, but I cannot guarantee you that the person you specifically want to speak with is going to come through. Your grandmother may come through. It's called piggybacking. They may come through on the back of another spirit because they're too shy to step forward themselves, or sometimes they're just like us. They just don't have bodies anymore. Hey, I'm going to come in at 7:00 on a Friday night. Hey, talk to us. No, I don't want to talk to you. I'm chilling. It's like they'll talk when they're ready. You can't make them talk. They're not circus performers. And if they're not comfortable coming through yet, they're not comfortable. And if they are, they are. It's just, I can't control when that happens. There's no on or off to it. But
Yep.
as far as like being in the public with it, I'm a hairstylist. So I'm constantly around energy, tons and tons of energy, hundreds of people a week.
Well,
And
I mean, and if you're touching their head, you're
yeah,
getting everything.
everything.
You are closer to their third eye than they are.
Mm-hmm.
In
So
most cases. And people don't
exactly.
even think about that.
Mm-hmm.
Hairdressers have them and bartenders.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They
I
know.
forgot what that's called again. What we're going to be doing next month.
Oh,
If you heard of it.
So
I can't remember.
What Ron is talking about is every month we have here in our area, we have a paranormal meetup.
Oh, cool.
So it's kind of like a Paracon without the cost.
Nice. Those are nice.
But yeah, really, what do you want when you go to a Paracon? You want to talk to these people.
Mm-hmm.
You could care less about what they're selling unless you
Right.
want something. Well,
Right.
these people can buy whatever they want from anybody who's got stuff to sell. It works out.
Mm-hmm.
But next month we have Mark Elliott Foltz. He's called the Fat Medium. He lives here in Milton.
Okay.
And he also wrote a bunch of books about the Chattanooga Chills series. So he writes a bunch of books for tours. He's getting ready to write the Pensacola Chills series.
Okay.
And so he moved here. We're friends. His show's going to be on this network, everybody. So when the time comes, you will be able to see him here on Bill of Rights Network and Dark Realm TV. And I don't know where else at this point, but I know you'll be able to see him there. But he wants to teach us how to do an Akashic Records meditation.
Thank you, Spirit. I just bought an Akashic Tarot deck because I've been wanting to learn how to do that. So I guess there's my sign.
So you've at least heard of it.
Oh, yes, I have heard of it, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it would be very beneficial to a lot of people to have that done.
But he says the meditation only takes about 30 minutes, but once you learn it, it's something that you'll have with you forever.
Exactly.
We have some people that don't want to they're afraid they're going to open themselves up for something, and others that are willing to try to see what. I'm skeptical. I don't know.
Right.
But how do I know if I don't try?
Exactly. You're skeptical until you try it and see if it happens to you. If not, then I mean,
it's just
people
like
are going to be there to observe too.
Yeah. And it's just like making a recipe. Like tonight, I made a recipe that said, reading it, and it's like, this sounds easy. It was complicated as hell. It only took an hour. It took 2. Okay. And it's a casserole. How hard is a casserole? You should see my sink. It's this high with dishes now because I needed 3 pots.
It was empty.
Yeah, it was empty. 3 pots, 4 bowls, measuring cups.
Oh my gosh.
That this is the same thing. Is it going to be complicated like this supposed easy recipe, or is it going to be easy? But again, I was skeptical after all that work that this recipe was going to turn out, to be honest. Same thing with this. How do we know that how we're being led is in the right direction?
Well, you don't
question that.
You don't. And the whole way people get into these things is like, depending on the type of blocks you have set up for yourself, like skeptics, walled off, like Fort Knox. I've had people pay for readings and come to me and say, okay, tell me this, tell me that. And I'm like, no. And they're like, excuse me. And I'm like, you don't want to hear it. So why would I sit here and waste my time with you? You're here to see, like, prove me. I don't need to prove anything to you. You're just here because you want to try and make a fool out of me, and I'm not okay with that. And the whole reason I'm not going to read someone, and I've actually shut down a reading before, is because they have such a wall that nothing I was going to say or try to help them learn how to do for themselves was going to work because they were so against. I'm like, clearly there's something about this that is bringing you towards, otherwise you would not have had a meeting with me. But if you're going to sit in a meeting that you've paid for and still wall yourself off, then you're really doing yourself a disservice by not opening up. So when you go into a meditation or a whatever, it depends on how much of a wall you have up is what you're going to get from it. So when I go in to meditate, I can't meditate while I'm awake. I have too much ADHD and my brain does not shut down long enough for me to actually be able to meditate. So I do sleep meditation. I do guided sleep meditation while I'm sleeping. And I am telling you what, that has completely changed my life. I feel so much more balanced. I can switch between frequencies depending on what I have going on. I do singing bowl meditation for a certain type of chakra healing. And usually how you can tell what chakra needs to be cleansed is what is hurting you at that point. Like my hips and my legs and my feet have been killing me lately. So clearly I need a lot of root chakra work. If I've been having a lot of headaches, I need a lot of crown and third eye chakra. If my throat has been acting up or feeling stuffy or I've got a really sore throat, my throat chakra needs working on. It's just about tuning in with your body and listening to it and figuring out what you need. And then whatever's going on with me at that point, I just pop on that singing bowl frequency, and then it helps me. It's not like an overnight fix because it's just like therapy. You have to keep doing your sessions to make progress. And then if I want to do some clarity work where I'm a little less fuzzy, I usually listen to theta waves. And it helps kind of like wake up the parts of your brain that don't really get woke up very well. I can't really explain exactly how it works. I watched something that led me to them, and I was just like, okay, I'll give that a try. And I'm just sharp as a tack the next few times I listen to that. So it really helps. It's just about figuring out what works for you and how.
Let's say hello to Bob Brunell and Tom Nally. Thank you guys for being here.
Just Bob and Tom.
Say that gets us to use more of our brain.
Yes.
That's what I was meaning. It wakes up certain areas of your brain that you don't normally wake up. They actually have people listening to it during MRIs, and it wakes you up more. It just helps you become more cognitively fluent. And it's really, it actually it helps with a lot of brain fog.
Well, I need something like that right now. I've been suffering from a migraine today.
Yeah, I've had one the last few. There's a big shift happening right now. A lot of people are going through a lot of stuff, and it is physically affecting people. So there's been a lot of astrological stuff happening lately, and things are really moving into a different shift pattern for the next 20 years. So we're in for a big shift.
Well, good, because the last 20 haven't been great. Other than the good things that happened. I mean, there's been a lot of bad things that have happened in the last 20 years, but I still think that the good has outweighed the bad.
I prefer to focus on the good because that's what gets you through, right?
Yeah, I mean, if
the bad's always going to have it, but you got to have your yin and your yang. You can't have the good without the bad. It makes you appreciate the good. So take that all with a grain of salt. You know, the bad is a bad, but it's for a reason, and it's not happening to you. It's happening for you, and you need to learn the lesson that comes with the bad. So
people are learning lessons.
No, not a lot of people are that open. So there's going to be a lot of closed-minded people staying to choose in their bad points, but that's on them. It's not for us to take that on. We just need to focus on ourselves and figure out if something's disturbing your peace, let it go. And if it's not, whether it's people, I know it's hard to let go of people, especially if they're a very important part of your life. But if they're not helping you, if they're not serving you anymore as far as like your peace, if they're just starting to take pieces of your peace, then they need to go. Same thing with situations, jobs, anything that is no longer serving you. Get rid of it.
Well, I took care of the job last year. So in fact, I'm coming up on my 1-year anniversary in a job that I've been doing for 26 years.
Congratulations.
It's funny, because, I sent my old boss from 5 years ago. He had given me this task. Okay, this is really funny. He gave me this task. I finally finished on Friday. Okay, I told him, I said, these were a pain in the ass, but the last one just got done. And he's like, yep, I knew it would take that long. He no longer works for the company that I used to work for. Mm-hmm. I no longer work for the company I used to work for, but I work for a new company that problem came with me to this company. So it's just funny as hell that it took, I started working for him in 2016, and here it is 8 years later, and I finally got it all done.
Exactly. That's so fun. I mean, everything happens for a reason.
And apparently I don't give up very easy.
No, you're pretty sorry. There's no word for you other than stubborn.
Oh yeah.
But that's a good trait to have.
In some cases, in others, not so much. Yes. But, okay, so you were talking about people that come to you that they say they want a reading, but they don't.
Yeah.
Or they don't know that they don't. Hey, April.
Hey, April.
I can't get a reading. Period. Can't get one. No matter how hard I try, there's something that won't let anybody read me. Every reading I've ever gotten has not been right.
Okay.
And I won't tell them. Okay. That's the other
wrong
thing.
Every time. Man.
Yeah, you can't read.
Nope.
Ron can't read me at all. 40 years. He can't.
Really?
Yep. That's why I get sweatsuits for Christmas. If I get anything. But no. We got things. We're going on a cruise in February. I don't need anything.
Ah, gotcha. I was going to say, you don't need stuff. You need memories.
In a wee little trip to Ireland.
Yeah.
Oh, and jelly. That's my stomping grounds.
Yes. So we'll make sure we take lots of pictures and get to show them to you at McPike when we camp out next year in October.
Absolutely.
Because we are going to make sure that we're there.
Yeah. I'm gonna hope I'm gonna be there. Just stuff changes by the day in my life, so we'll have to figure it out. Well, but I put it on my calendar every year, so
hopefully we'll get the date set. We know that it's going to be the weekend before Halloween.
Yeah,
Thursday.
usually it's every year.
Yep.
So when you say that you can't be read, I'm kind of curious about this. Not that I almost feel like it's a challenge, but at the same time, I'm not gonna like go get my cards right now and try and read you because.
No.
I mean, is that something that you are like
Actively doing?
Yeah. No?
No.
Okay.
And I think some of it might be that what the stuff that I've told people that is public. That's fine. But I
Right.
have some stuff that's private that if
Everyone does.
Yeah, I don't want it out there.
Tom said he's hard to read.
Tom is hard to read because he doesn't stop for 5 seconds.
He doesn't.
He just moves all the time. It's hard.
Constantly going.
It's hard to read somebody who can't. Well, see, maybe that's it. It's hard to read somebody who can't sit still.
I mean, I can read somebody that can't sit still. It's just, but then their energy is chaotic, and then the message comes out chaotic, and they're like, "What does that mean?" I'm like, "I don't know. Your energy is crazy. I'm freaking out right now."
You know what, Crystal? Crystal says she's also is a hard time for people to read her, and she's my cousin.
Now, I've had somebody tell me that like a year ago, his wife said that nobody's been able to read her. And I was like, oh, okay. So I pulled my cards out and I just boom, 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 did a reading. And her jaw was on the ground. She's like, how the did you do that? And I was like, I just said what they told me.
I just wonder if it's a family, that we have a family member that's
trying to keep the secrets hidden.
Because I guarantee not only Crystal, I bet you April. April says she doesn't ask people to read her, but I got a feeling that.
Well, if they're any kind of unless it's something completely like nagging at us, me in particular, my personal situation, I've reached out to people on Facebook and saying, hey, I'm in this group with you and something told me I don't want any money from you. I don't want this. I'm just telling you, I feel like there's a message you need to hear. Sounds like one of those scam things, but that is my intuition and my guides telling me you got to say something to this person. And I'm like, I don't want to. Who the hell just reaches out to someone and says, hey, your dead relatives have something to say to you? I look like a freaking lunatic. But
Caputo. There you go. There's your answer. That's
but she walks around the grocery store doing that. I don't do that. But
and see, I have a problem with at the grocery store. That's one of the places I have the worst time at Walmart.
Oh God, I avoid it at all costs. I only go when I absolutely have to, like if I'm out of toilet paper or something. I don't do public spaces very much anymore. I'm a people person. I'm not a crowd person.
Yeah.
It's too much.
I have gone from being an extrovert in big public things to being an introvert in those, and then being more extroverted around the people I want to be around.
Same.
I just don't, like every time that we've been I'm going to go back to McPike. Every time we've been in the basement in McPike and we've got that huge group session with 40 people, I can't do it anymore.
You can't. I always wait for the 3 o'clock because I can't. There's too many people at one time, and then it gets chaotic, and then it's too much noise for spirit to even do anything. So you don't even really get a good experience.
Yeah, when it was just all of us and we were sitting down there, I spoke up. And I know when we were there with David and Charlie the following Friday, we had Coyote Chris come through. We had Tiffany come through, and we had Jerome come through. But again, Coyote Chris knew everybody in the room.
Right. They're familiar with everybody.
Yeah. I mean, even with it just being us, David and Charlie, he knew all 4 of us. And he, because, as Coyote Chris was extroverted when he had to be. That was it. He was not an extrovert any other time. If there was another medium there that was supposed to take the lead. He let them take the lead and he would sit back.
Yep.
He wouldn't say a word. He'd be quiet. And if somebody came to him and asked him something, then he would speak up. But he was introverted when he needed to be, and he was extroverted when he needed to be. So people had to keep that in mind. So he came through on one of the spirit boxes. And 9 times out of 10, when we have a spirit box at McPike, we get nothing.
Yeah.
But that night that we were all there with Tom and Dara and Wesley and you and Sharon, my name was coming through there. You know, my name is a 3-syllable word. To get Denise takes a little bit.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
That was weird. But
yeah,
I spoke up when I couldn't take the smell anymore.
Yeah.
He didn't smell it.
No.
You did.
We were smelling it. It was like dirty gym socks or something.
Yeah, you walked over when I said something. You walked over and sat behind me.
You two were the only ones. Maybe one other person.
But
so after I think you guys had already gone to bed, and then it was Andy and what was his friend's name that he brought with him this year?
I forgot his name, but nice
I
guy.
forgot his name. He was a sweet guy, very sweet guy. And then we had Dara, and I think Christine and her daughter went down there with us too. And we went down, and it was just our small little group. And then, you know, we had the girl that she was being crazy. And I finally said, you know what, guys, spirit boxes and stuff aside, I said, I'm going to lead this one. So I ended up leading the the session, because Sharon had gone across the street to take care of George or something. She said we could go down there. So I went down there, and I was like, I'm going to lead this one, because I felt like I needed to, like something told me. And I said, we're just going to be very calm, and we're going to say, you know, I'll just lead this. And so they all sat down, and I was like, okay, we're not going to talk unless we need to, guys. And I said, we're here. We didn't even thank the McPikes for letting us come here today in any of the other sessions. That's the first thing we're going to do. Thank you for letting us visit your home. We love your home. This is like a second home to us. We appreciate you, blah, blah. So if you want to come through and talk, you're more than welcome. If not, and you're tired, and you want to go rest, by all means, go rest. We don't want anybody coming to talk that doesn't want to. And I just kind of opened it up that way. And I said, you're more than welcome to join us. We're just here to say hello and acknowledge that you're here. So we were down there for like 20, 30 minutes. I am telling you, that is the most profound experience I've had there since I've been going for like 20 years now, 18, 20 years. It was like a pulsating light right in front of the back wall. When you first walk in, it's the wall right in front of you. And it was right smack in the middle over there. And we were all seeing it at the exact same time. And it was moving. It was the same color. And then there was a mist right at her feet. And then it was just, I mean, it was just so much happening at one time, because we were calm and reserved and didn't have all these gadgets and all the stuff that everybody brings down there with, you know, it's just, we quieted down the noise, and everything just was just, oh my gosh, it was the coolest thing I've ever seen there, ever. And unfortunately, my camera died. So
the most profound experience that we had there was years ago. It was I think it was the last summer camp out. No, it was one of the last winter camp outs. We were there. It was in October. And Ron and I and our daughters, Leah and Lauren, were down there with us. Lacey was across the way with her. No, Lacey wasn't there at this one. So we're sitting there, and I'm, you know that it's you can't see nothing.
Oh, nothing. Period. It's pitch dark down there.
So this is a group session with all 40 people in there.
Yep.
And I'm just sitting there, and most of the time, I mean, if you were to put put a night vision camera on me, you just see me just sitting there going,
yeah,
looking around to see what I see. I got a feeling that's what most people look like. You know, they're doing this, looking to see if they see anything. Me, I'm sitting there. This is what my hands look like, these 2 rings. I'm sitting there and I look down and I see my hands. Not that I feel them, but it's not that I'm just feeling them. I look down and I see the gold flashing, shiny, and I can see my hands moving.
But you didn't feel them moving.
I just kept doing this.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm confused as to.
Yeah, there's a beam of light from the ceiling going down there her hands.
Not above my hands, just right to my hands. And Ron looks over because he in those chairs you can feel the person.
She didn't say anything. I'm looking around, like normal, and I just happen to look to the right, and I see her moving her hands, and I'm sitting there looking at this light coming down from the ceiling. I thought, am I seeing this? So I looked away. It's like, oh, solid black. Look back again. Sure enough, she goes, "Can you see my hands?" I said, "Yeah, I actually can."
Wow.
Then he yells out, "Can anybody else
see
the beam of light above my wife?" And nobody saw it. But on the other side of me, my daughter saw it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And right as it was going away, she got pinched. And, as soon as we got done with the session, Ron goes, "Who do you think it was?" I said, "It was your Aunt Lou. She's pissed at her boys. They're fighting." So I go out there, I get on my phone, I call one of the boys and I tell him, "Your mom says, stop it. You guys need to get along." And they go, "How do you know what's going on?" I said, "Your mom told me that you guys are fighting. Stop it." And that was it.
Not a clue.
Nobody in the family knew that this was going on except for these two
individuals.
Yeah, the boys and their families.
Yep. They kept it hidden.
Yeah, they kept it hidden because they didn't want to upset, their Aunt Karen or anybody else, which is good. But
right,
I can just see the looks on their face when I said what I said.
That's interesting.
So, and hey, Richard, I hope you're doing well. And I hope Colleen's doing well. But it's one of those weird things that, nothing has compared to that experience since then.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that I tell people all the time is, and a lot of people look at me like I'm crazy, but you provide feedback on this if you think I'm right on target or if I'm way out in left field. But when you go to a haunted location, you have already put it out in the universe that you're going to this haunted location and that you want to have a paranormal experience. That gives the call out to every family member that's ever passed in your life that wants to talk to you is going to come there to where you're at and try to talk to you. And a lot of times those people get misconstrued as spirits of the location when they're not.
Yes. Yeah, that is a huge thing, especially when people go to investigate things, because like you said, you're putting the intention out there and people don't realize whether you think you're a witch or a psychic, whatever, you have intention towards something. It's gonna make it happen depending on your situation and what's going on. You're intending to go there to have an experience, but you're not really which experience are you gonna get? You don't know.
Yeah.
However, if it's meant for you to have one, you will have one. If not, then people, nothing's there, blah, 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 skeptics, blah, 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 blah. It just wasn't your time to have an experience. So it just depends on the person and what your intentions are going in. When I go in, like I was telling you earlier with work, if I walk out that door and I know I'm going to have a huge day that day, I tell Spirit, okay, turn it off until I get home. And I picture them flipping off a light switch. And then when I get home, I said, okay, you can turn it back on. And then I picture them flipping it back on. It keeps me level enough to where that doesn't come at me as much while I'm working and touching other people and all this other stuff. And then if I know somebody's got a message, Spirit will break through that and say, hey, we need you to say something to this person. But going to a place where you're expecting to have an experience, that can get...
It's a double-edged sword.
It's a double-edged sword because it's like, be careful what you ask for, number one. And number two, are you sure you're ready to handle what you're going to experience? because you guys remember when I had my first experience at McPike, like Chris and, or not Chris, Dawn and Sandy had to sage me down for 3 hours because I didn't know what was happening to me. It was my first awakening as a physical medium to figure out that that's how spirit communicates with me. That was the scariest thing I've ever experienced in my life, but I had it, and I'm glad I had it because I understand who I am and what my gifts are now. So if you're not going in with the intent that you might possibly want to figure yourself out and who you are and what you are capable of, don't ask for that kind of an experience because you may not be able to handle that. That was a very scary thing to have happen, and some people can't handle that kind of thing.
So now I got another question. This one's going to be more along the lines of clearing someone.
Yeah.
Sage does not work for everyone.
No, it does not.
What do we do in the cases of that? I mean, I know what I do. That doesn't mean what I do is right, but it works. So what, okay, let me give you an example. A friend of ours went out of town and they had an experience. They saw their very first full body apparition walking down the street behind them. Then they felt like they were being targeted, that they were oppressed by something. They called me crying, and I told them to basically take an Epsom salt bath. Okay, won't hurt them at all. Actually, really good for them. And I said, just make sure that you get it from head to toe. And of course, they said they didn't have a shower, and I said, well, mix it up in a bucket of water, stand in the bucket, and get in the shower, and then have somebody pour it on your head, and have it go all over your body. And I said, that should clear out any negative intentions and replace it with positive, and you're going to feel it tingle.
Right.
That's how I told them, because, some stuff is too complicated.
So first thing you have to understand that spirit, like people, this is not going to be a popular opinion by any means, but some people are, oh my gosh, demon attachments and this and this and that. I don't see them as demons and evil spirits and this and this and that. I see them as people. There's sometimes really good people, sometimes really shitty people. There's a really good spirits, and then sometimes I'm sorry, am I not supposed to cuss on here?
No,
okay, I'm sorry. And then there's really shitty spirits.
They'll just wipe us off the internet, and that'll be it.
Oh yeah, I'm so sorry. I just ruined your whole thing. Anyway.
On TV now.
Yeah, they say that on TV. Have you listened to the Pat McAfee show?
I try to. Yeah, it just depends, but some people. Anyway, so I just depended. Some of them are stronger than others. There's some weak people, there's some strong. It just depends on their will and their intention. Just like with us, if you have intention. So if there's something maliciously following someone, sometimes it takes a little bit more legwork to get rid of them. And it's not so much that you're ridding them, it's ridding them from your space and your home. So if it's in their home, the salt was a good measure, the sage is a good measure, but sometimes it takes a minute to get rid of that stuff, and a repetitive, almost like a daily ritual for a few weeks to a few months to however long until it goes away.
Multiples of 7 times 3 usually works good, but just keep that in mind, everybody.
You said what?
Multiples of 3, but usually 7 times 3, 21 days to 28 days always works really good, depending upon
usually
what's going on.
Right. So what I recommend to people is if you have something that's really bugging you, first things first, stand your ground. Use your voice and stand in your space and say, look, I acknowledge you that you're here, but this is my area and you are not welcome. You've got to go. And you open your windows as you say this, and your doors, whatever you say, and then you sage as you're saying it. Only love, light, and peace are allowed in this space. Cleanse your whole home with it, not just your person, but your whole home, your doorways, all that stuff. And then you can put salt at the bottom of your doorways and blow it outwards. And that'll help them know that this is a barrier and you're not allowed to cross. You can also put some nettle. If there's anything a little bit malicious going on and you feel like it's something malicious, you can put some nettle in with your salt and throw it out there. And then you can put it in a bath of warm water as well with some peppermint, because angels love the smell of peppermint, so that gives you extra protection. In a warm bucket of water with the salt and the peppermint. And you can just literally, you don't have to wipe your entire house with it, but you can put it in some mop water, mop your floors with it. And then you can get a rag and wipe your walls down with it. It's just like literally cleaning your house and getting it away. And then another thing I do, the main thing that I do personally is I have black witch's salt and I put it in my body wash. So every day I wake up, take a shower, cleanse myself. Wake up, or I come home, immediately get in the shower and cleanse myself. And I'm not even consciously thinking about it. I'm doing a daily ritual without having to do the brain work with it. Because I'm that kind of person where I'm like, oh, if I did do something all this time, if I'm thinking about it, it makes it tedious and then my energy is bad with it. So I just put the salt in my body wash and I'm doing a daily ritual without even knowing I'm doing it, but it's keeping me cleansed and my energy clean. And it's keeping a barrier from the bad juju away. So if they're having that big of a problem with it, they can do that. They can just put salt, pink Himalayan, black salt, which is whatever you want to put in your bath wash, put it in there, and then you're just doing a daily cleansing without even thinking about it. And you're thinking about when you're washing it, it goes right down the drain and it washes it away from you. So, and that's where you do your 5 to 10 extra minutes of self-care in the shower. Just for 10 minutes, just sit in there and just listen to the water, breathe. And it's literally just another way for you to take time for yourself every day too.
Yeah, if you take a little bit of Vicks Vapor Rub and put it at the bottom, you're clearing out your sinuses at the same time.
Yep. They have eucalyptus shower tablets too. Like they have different type of shower tablets you can put in there and just kind of like aromatherapy, and boom, you're good to go.
And not to mention, you can go to places like Trader Joe's and get eucalyptus and just hang it in your shower.
Yeah, you can get the sprigs and hang them in your shower and do your brush off. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's all kinds of things.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you protect yourself during an investigation?
I usually wear my black tourmaline or obsidian around my neck. And I bring my sage with me all the time, and I sage myself before and after. I have a spray that I've made, and it's infused with black obsidian crystals and smoky quartz. So I just do like a spritz of that front and back, and it keeps me pretty well grounded. Plus, I just ask my spirit guides, please encompass me in your healing light, and I'm protected the whole time.
Tom, you've got a great sense of humor. I am so happy to have you here. Make me smile.
He always says funny stuff.
I didn't see what he said.
He basically said that he went to take an Epsom salt shower bath one time and grabbed the boric acid powder by accident. He was really clean that time.
Squeaky even. Ain't nothing touching that guy.
I want everybody here to know, you can ask questions if you have them, please do. But if you're watching this, wherever you're watching this now, you can see this in rerun whenever you want. And also you can check us out on Dark Realm TV. Just go download the app, add it to your Roku, or you can put it on your cell phone or your tablet, $4.99 a month. And you can see me and my bright smiley face, even when I have a migraine. Anytime. And Ron too. You can
I don't have a migraine.
No, his migraine.
He's decoration.
He's decoration. Well,
I'm just eye candy.
Yeah, that's a better way to put it.
You do have the nicest calves of any guy your age or younger even. We
what
were
I heard.
we were in South Carolina, and it was right after the tropical storm hit,
Yeah, the power.
and all the power was out, and we were in Walmart, and he was walking, and these two guys walked up to us and told him that he had the best looking calves of anybody they've ever seen.
You've got guy grabbing calves there, Ryan. Check that out.
Thanks. I think. I didn't know what to say.
Hey, you could have worse things. I mean, that's a good feature.
You have my fat ass. So, you do have my fat ass, I guess. But as you can tell, many years
stop
together.
it.
So, you've seen us at our, well, not at our worst.
We are never put together when we're at McPike. We always see each other at our comfiest. We'll put it that way.
Oh, yes. I tried to use your picture, but we're only allowed so much space. So all they would have seen would have been like your eyes and your nose. And I was like, I ain't going to do that. So
sorry.
But the picture that we do have of us together, we're sitting there on the front porch of McPike, and you're back there playing with my hair. So that, and then the other one is me and you and Ron, and Christine's back there photos on us.
That would have been perfect. I would have gone with that one. That would have been fine.
Well, like I said,
that's what I said.
It's all these pictures. We take all these pictures of stuff. After we haven't been able, we barely brushed our hair. We've been lucky if we brushed our teeth, and which I make sure I do before I come visit anybody. But we're in most likely the clothes we slept in all night.
Right. That's pretty much what mine is. Not even brushed. I just throw it up in a big bun and hope for the best. That's what
what? We never looked like we were up all night because we're all laughing and having a good time.
That's the one thing I look forward to every year, because it's like an extended family. We've known each other for so long, and then everybody's just trying to keep up with everybody throughout the year, but we're all so crazy busy with our lives. But that's the one time of year we come together and actually able to just chill with each other. And it's my home away from home. I love going there all the time.
So what do you have planned for 2025?
Oh my gosh. I don't know. Everything keeps happening. Hopefully we'll wrap. For those of you watching, I'm also in the film industry. I started doing hair and makeup special effects about 3 years ago in 21. And now I'm branching out into acting. There's a show right now I'm playing a vampire, and her name is Luna. But we're filming season 3 for that officially. Season 2 is out. They took down our YouTube channel, of course, because they're censor crazy. So if you go to my Facebook, you can see if you scroll down, you can see all the episodes. It's hard to watch right now, but we're looking into a place where we can stream it without, people going crazy. So there's that. And then another film I've been working on for a little over a year now. We'll be done filming February, no later than. And then that's going to be in editing for about 6 to 9 months. So we'll probably see it in 2026. I just did a film race the other night at an improv club. We did you make a short film in 24 hours. That was kind of fun to participate in. So we'll see what that does in the competition. I just got asked to play in a horror film down in Georgia in March. And then
no, because Georgia's not that far away.
I was going to say, if I'm coming, the person that asked me to do it lives actually in Lake Wales, Florida. So if we end up filming in Florida, you know where I'm going. So I'll be filming with you guys, hopefully.
Just let us know and we'll figure it out.
I will. So there's that. And then, I love dogs. I'm good with dogs.
This is a must-love dog situation.
Oh, what?
must love dog situation.
Oh, I am emphatic about dogs. My friend Drew, actually, I'm over there all the time with his dogs, and I mean, they love their Auntie Mary. So I'm a huge dog person.
I may have some contacts for you for streaming. So
cool.
Just so you know, I know somebody everywhere.
Okay.
In fact, I'm pretty sure that we know all the same people.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't doubt it.
I don't. Yeah, and the ones that I don't are probably because they're film industry people, and I'm not real big on all that stuff. Because I can tell you how many horror movies I've watched in 40 years.
You're not a big horror movie person?
No, but I will watch Supernatural till my eyes fall out.
I actually have. I may be having an interesting. I may be working with Jansen, so that's on the DL though.
Oh well, I like Jensen. He seems like a really good guy.
Oh, he's him and his wife started their own production company, and we're trying to. Yeah, we're trying to start something with that. So we're in talks. So I'm not trying to put the kibosh on anything, but however, it's just, all the stuff for 2025, there's so much happening already. I'm already exhausted, but so excited to see what's going to happen.
Wait to hear about all of it. Remember, you can always tell me anything. I tell nobody everything.
Oh, I know.
That's one of the things. That's one of the best parts of people say is that they can tell me anything because they know it's not going anywhere. But not on the air. If you say it on the air, it's going everywhere.
Well, yeah, because it's coming right out of my mouth on the air, so we'll figure it out later. But no, my friends call me the Vault, so yeah, I'm the same way.
Well, some things aren't meant for everybody to hear.
Exactly. And if it's not my business, it's not my business. People got to, that they call me a therapist for a reason. It's a thing. People sit in that chair and they tell you stuff they don't even tell their dogs. Like, I know half of St. Louis's secrets, so I'm not saying nothing. Like,
well, like I said before about bartenders and hairdressers. I mean, it's not just hairdressers. Barbers are the same way.
Exactly.
They want to say that it's not like with women, but it is. Guys gossip more than women.
Absolutely, and they're worse about their hair too. I hate to say it, guys, but it's coming straight from a pro. I've been doing it for 16 years. Most guys are pickier than most women. So
I'm not one of those.
Sorry about you. Okay.
But there are guys that do hang out in the barbershop just to sit and BS all day with everybody.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. It's just like Steel Magnolias.
Yeah, we don't have time for that crap. We got to get home and make dinner. Clean the house. Got to scrape the litter box. Got to do this and got to do that.
I usually got to get to set, but that's, I got to run and get stuff done for the film.
And then you have a son that's driving.
Yes, I haven't seen him since.
Yep.
So you look, the thing is you don't look like you're over 35.
Oh my God, love you. It's the lighting. It is.
Well, I had the horrible realization the other day when I was looking at the stuff for the trip to Ireland. I looked at it and said, "Oh my God, I'm going to be 60."
Oh my God. I never would have
just realized that.
Yeah. I just realized that I was going to be 60.
Figured that out.
I just realized I'm almost 40, which to you that sounds like I'm bitching, but when you haven't hit that age yet, it's a big thing.
Well, they always say, everybody goes, "Oh, turning 30 is hard." And it's like, no.
It is if you've never done it before.
I actually had a doctor tell me that I was depressed when I was 31 because I had never been 31 before.
Exactly.
That's not it.
Exactly.
Not it. So, but yeah, I mean, when it comes right down to it, we are as old or as young as we want to behave.
Exactly. My dad you'd think he was 12. I'm just saying. You've met him.
Your dad is very active, and
Yes, he is.
he is so sweet.
Oh yeah, he's a very sweet guy. He's a Papa Bear for sure. Yeah, he dances around the house like he's an idiot still. So,
and we really enjoyed meeting your dad. But at least we can say that when we were there, we didn't break any of your stuff at your campsite.
No, because it would have been either me or Dad breaking it. I inherited my graciousness from him. So, yeah, he's like a mixture of Clark Griswold and Tim Taylor. He's fallen out of ceilings. He's electrocuted himself a few times. He's done the thing with the ladder where he slid down because it wasn't locked. And it's like living those movies in real life. So, but it makes life interesting. It's very fun. And I, in turn, fall a lot and I run into stuff and
do not tell your
talented people.
Do not tell your doctor that, or when you go in the hospital, you get a little wristband that says
fall risk. No, my chiropractor, I walk in, he's been seeing me for 10 years, and I'll walk in for my appointment, and he's like, okay, how'd you fall this time? I'm like, you don't know me. Like, he just, from the way I walk in there, he knows exactly what I did to myself. So.
I got stories too, but
yeah,
our daughter's neighbor was putting up his lights and stuff, and I told him, I said, he's climbing on a ladder. I said, you better not fall. I said, nobody here is going to call an ambulance. They're not even going to come and help you. They won't even notice until Christmas Eve that you're laying there. And he goes, are you sure? And I go, yes, I'm sure. I said, they don't pay attention when they're driving. They're not going to pay attention to some guy laying on the ground. They're just going to think that you're a part of the Christmas decorations. And he goes, you're right. So he goes and he yells for his wife. He goes, hey, you need to come out here to keep an eye on me because nobody's going to call if I fall.
You made a valid point. We don't need to watch him. We just wait to hear the big old crash, and then we're like, ceiling or floor? Which one do you think it was this time? And then we go out there and I'm like, oh, ceiling.
See, out here with the ground being sand,
it
doesn't make much sound.
But I bet you it's a nice cushioned fall, though.
Yeah. They tell the kids that they're not allowed to do gymnastics on...
only if we've had rain.
That they can only do it in the grass because our grass gives. So,
right.
It does.
Yeah, it does. And
that's awesome.
As long as you don't have to go down more than 6 inches, it's easy to dig.
Right.
We also
pass that.
Yeah, because we have
takes about a minute.
We have like the Alabama red clay.
Yeah, that's like hard to break through.
So when we were talking, you were saying you said some negative things about equipment. So do you use any equipment?
Now, I wouldn't say using equipment is negative because I do work with equipment on certain things. The one we did in Vermont, they have these really awesome lights that were really cool. Spirit boxes, I think they're awesome, but I feel like it creates too much noise sometimes. Like, I like sitting in sessions and hearing what comes through. It's very interesting to hear, but sometimes, like, I'm a very quiet, like, observer. So people with like sensory stuff, it's kind of like overstimulation sometimes when I'm trying to read. Like, this is coming from my standpoint as a medium. When I'm trying to listen and to hear for what's going on, a lot of the electronic stuff just makes it a little too busy. And it's hard for me to focus. It's like, I'm very old school. When I go through to do my walkthrough in a certain location, I'll bring a pad of paper and a pen and just do this because it keeps my ADHD in my hand and I'm just doing this because then it helps me focus more. So I'm not against equipment. I think if it gives any more information than, that people can actually see, it's tangible, then by all means, I'm not against it at all. It's just when I'm in a situation and I'm trying to listen and hear, it's hard for me because it's kind of distracting. in that
What
sense.
about, okay, because of McPike, I know that you're familiar with dowsing rods. What
Hmm.
do you feel that they're a valid piece of equipment to utilize? And how
I
often
do.
do you utilize them outside of McPike?
I use them. I actually only use them with McBike. It's the only place I tend to use them. I've used them at home a couple of times, but like I said, I'm very old school and I'm very minimal. So I don't really rely on a lot of other stuff when I'm going through and doing my readings, mainly because I'm learning how to trust my gift. So I don't want to try to rely on something else for me to get a validated answer, because then I can go back and check what I've written, or it's just I'm mainly going through and doing investigations now, just using myself as an instrument, because I want to grow my gift and get stronger as a medium. But I do like the dowsing rods because, like you said, it is energy and they're using your energy to move the rods. So it's actually another good way to connect with spirit. And I do like the rods. I do feel like they're accurate.
Let's see. So when will we know about this place in Vermont that you talked about on here and in the past?
So they are working on the footage right now. There's always, like, editing is a horribly tedious process, and I would not want to do it at all. So I'm just going to let them. Right now, it's like it's almost finished, but they're just having problems with the audio right now. So hopefully by the beginning of
Use
the year.
StreamYard?
Hmm.
Did you use StreamYard?
No, we had these cameras that they're called Reds. They're really like high-end professional cameras, and only one of the cameras had a mic set up on it. So they're trying to use the footage from camera A to match up with the audio from camera B. It's just a big. We could have had more sound equipment involved, but doing indie stuff is very expensive. So trying to do it on a bare bones budget, it's really tricky. But hopefully once they get that done, I'll be able to share some things, but I can't share anything unless we actually talk with the people at the networks that we're trying to get this on. So until they say they go ahead, I can't say or release anything about specifics.
Well, hopefully it won't be so many years down the road to where
we forget about it.
Well, I mean, okay, we're in that same boat where we had a bunch of stuff filmed back in 2017, and I tease all the time. I said they did a film that they were going to call the Deep Darkness, and it hasn't seen the light of day.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the fact.
Yeah.
They filmed us for 10, 12 hours one day, and the second day they filmed us for 4 or 5. Plus whatever they did.
Mm-hmm.
So what happened? And then there was there's I don't know. It's a lot of stuff. But yeah, I'd like to see even uncut. I'd like to see what
that's what I'm trying to like, because when you put together a pitch deck, like you can't really show and it's supposed to be like performance ready or whatever they want to call it. So it's going to be a pretty well put together episode, and it's just a pilot. So we were going to try and do 2 more episodes, but everybody's crazy schedule busy until like the end of January, so we can't really all get together again until next year anyway. But just trying to put together the pitch deck in general and getting that footage to the people that need to see it is the hard part, because the editing process is sometimes where everything gets hung up.
has the sizzle reel been done at all?
I think they did the sizzle. I think that's already included. I think they put in a trailer as well. And then they did, they put together, the character list and all that, the breakdowns of everything. Just waiting on the footage. So there's things that I've worked on in 2021. It was my very first project. It's still in post, and it's only supposed to be like a 30-minute film. So it's just kind of a matter of what is the hang up and what is the problem. And sometimes these problems cost money. And if you're doing a low budget film, it's like, do we want to invest this money to fix this problem? It's half the stuff people make doesn't see the light of day anyway. So It's just tricky,
I,
but there's some things
I
that I've done that are, yeah. There's one that I worked on in January of last year, and by June it was already done, edited, and in a theater. We rented out a theater and we filled 3 theaters full to premiere this film, and it's out on Tubi now. So I did
what's it
special
called?
effects for that one. It's called The Blood Brothers. And it's got a picture of the 4 guys on the thing, on the poster with a big wedding cake with a knife in it, and it's dripping blood. It's pretty cool. But it was a St. Louis based producer, and this entire cast and crew was St. Louis based, and we filmed it here in St. So she's really trying to get St. Louis on the map. But she's got some stuff on Peacock, she's got stuff on Tubi. So yeah, I was excited to see that some of my work is now out on a platform. So it's pretty interesting to see.
Yeah, it is fun. I mean, I know that I've been on iHeartRadio for years and years,
Mm-hmm.
but I haven't put anything on iHeart in a while.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but I know that I'm out there, and I mean, if you look my name up, all kinds of crap comes up. That's really
yeah.
neat.
If you Google mine, you see my IMDb, all of my, like, I'm everywhere. I did that the other day because my brother was like, do you realize? And I'm like, what? And he's like, Google yourself. And I'm like, that sounds rude. But I did it, and I was like, holy crap. I didn't realize how much stuff I had going on. I was like, whoa.
I wrote a script because I was trying to do something. So I do some automation. So I wrote a script to find my name on the internet.
Mhm.
And in 5 seconds, I saw that only to bring back 25 hits. In 5 seconds, it brought back 25. And in one of them, I found out how I was registered to vote. So needless to say, it's really
Interesting.
important you search yourself and find out what there is out there, because there are some obscure places that your name is at that you may not know is there.
Mm-hmm.
I also found out how all my neighbors voted too. With that.
Oh my gosh. So it's no longer a secret anymore.
Well, it may be to everybody else, but I mean, I can go out there and do this. And this wasn't on the dark web. This was just using Chrome. I just used Chrome and a few little keywords, and boom, boom, boom. There it is.
That's so crazy. I think the more advanced we get, you start realizing we really don't have privacy anymore at all. It's like starting to get kind of creepy.
We're getting to the end of this, so I got a couple more questions to ask you.
Okay.
How do you feel about alien life forms? Do you think they exist? They don't exist?
Of course they do. I mean, we can't be so arrogant to think that we're the only beings in this entire universe. That's just, I mean, I hate to be a snob about that, but I mean,
no, but it's true.
Do we know how big the universe is? It's not fathomable to us. So how is there no other beings in existence besides just us?
So
there has to be.
I believe
there has to be.
Yeah.
I believe it's like supernatural.
Okay? Yeah.
That God created all of these worlds.
Mm-hmm.
And this one is set up like this, and this one's set up like this, and that everything was he tried to create stuff in his likeness and it just didn't work, but that world's still going on. I mean, just think back to Chuck on the last couple episodes of Supernatural.
Mm-hmm.
We're just the ones that worked, or so we think we're the ones that worked.
I personally feel like we're the redheaded stepchild of the universe, but that's just me. It's just
what one guy said. Yeah,
Ron talked to this one guy, John J. Davis, and he said that Earth is the hardest place to live.
Make it.
I wouldn't doubt it, but we can't really make that judgment because we haven't lived in it. But that depends on this could be a whole different bucket we're opening here. I mean, just from like my understanding and spiritual studying that I've been doing is when you come back as a spirit, everybody's got more than one life. Some people are on their 1,000th, some people are on their 4th, some people are on their 4th. Depends on how old your soul is. Okay. So when you go back after your organic vessel expires here and you go back to the other side and go over what you learned and what you still need to learn, you have the choice to come back here or somewhere else. It's not just Earth that we come back to. So it just depends on where you want to go in the universe next to learn your next lessons and where you need to go to learn those lessons.
That's kind of what John J. Davis said. I would check him out on YouTube. We had an episode with him on Paranormal Nation Radio, Not So Normal. Another migraine day. I'm sleeping. I'm laying in the bed during this one. But he talks about his near-death experience. And one of the things, how I read it, is that he had a death experience because he doesn't talk about going into the tunnel. He's on the other side of that tunnel.
He's already in.
He's already dead. When he wakes up, he's already dead. And then he comes back from that. So check him out, John J. Davis, and I think you're going to see something that matches up with just what you said.
Okay.
So then the next thing, Bigfoot.
Real or not?
Is it real or is it cake?
Real or cap, you mean?
Well, now, Nolan's favorite thing is it cake? He's asking us, he'll hold my cell phone up and he'll go, is it cake? I was like, no.
I personally haven't met him, but it'd be cool. Like, I don't know, maybe. It's just like, as much stuff as we have going on these days, like, here's how my tiny brain computes these things. Is it possible? Absolutely. Anything's possible. And people are, well, how have we never had sightings and this and this and that? And it's like, well, you're probably only looking in one spot. And this world is massive. There's stuff, we're 66, almost 70 million years old, and there's still parts of this planet that have not been discovered yet. So, is it possible? Yeah. Have I seen it myself? No. But I'm not saying it's not. I just haven't, I haven't met him.
I'm going to tell you, I haven't seen a porcupine in nature, but that doesn't mean they're not there.
Exactly. That's very true. And I work with wildlife people. So I've seen their quills, but I've never seen a porcupine.
But I will tell you that there is a rumor out there that if you can find a porcupine, more than likely you'll find Bigfoot bones.
Oh, that almost got interesting, didn't it?
Yeah.
I haven't
She
let
heard
that
that
go.
on one show that I actually quit watching right after that stupid statement.
Yeah.
Really?
They actually made that statement on TV.
I thought it was serious. I'm like, well, what's the connection with porcupines and
eat meat?
Here's what they said.
Or anything.
They said that they're hoarders
Vegetation.
and that they take all these bones and all this stuff back to their den and they keep it, that they're hoarders. But at first they had said that they eat Bigfoot, and I'm like,
yeah.
They're not. They're
that doesn't make sense because they're very small creatures compared to Bigfoot.
Yeah, we stopped watching it, but there's a whole thing on Bigfoot and porcupines out there from BFRO that got a couple of the guys that they used to be really famous. Matt Moneymaker and Momo. No, not Momo. Bobo. Fate. Whatever. And then some other guy. And Renee. These four were really famous. Renee's the only one that was skeptical of what the people were saying. But I laugh about it all the time. But we did meet this guy named Ron Stein. He came to the camp out. He and his friend were the ones that got credit for Momo the monster. He came to the McPike camp out one year.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Yeah.
I haven't heard of Momo. I've never heard of Momo.
Momo the monster is in Missouri, up near Louisiana, Missouri.
That's by me.
I know.
Yep.
Back in the 70s.
How have I never heard of Momo when I live by him?
Missouri's Bigfoot.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
But that's what they called him, was Momo the monster.
Okay. Well, I mean, I'm sure he's chilling. My main thing is, like, I'm a huge animal person, and I'm just like, if these creatures exist, don't bother them. Like, just let them live in peace, for crying out loud. Like, why? What is so encapsulating about, like, there's much weirder creatures that you can more likely get a hold of than Bigfoot
They
and
might
Yetis.
taste really good. We don't know.
Maybe they taste like
Why?
bear. Maybe they taste like bear. Or
Well, you
skunk.
got to think about it. There's like the shapeshifters in New Mexico, and there's creatures in every place. The Black Ness monster, and, like, they're possible. They're just very elusive.
Yeah, you just need to look up the creature of every state, because ours is the skunk ape down here in Florida.
Oh, okay, interesting. I thought it'd be the gator dude or Florida guy.
Oh,
Florida guy seems to be pretty popular.
Florida guy is a pain in the ass. I think somebody needs to take care of him because he keeps doing dumb things and getting us in the
I'm like, somebody needs to catch that guy. I keep hearing him all over the news.
Well, it's either that or the Kansas woman. There's always some Kansas woman that did something stupid.
Wouldn't doubt it.
No.
But yeah, if we went and got a group together and said, "Oh, well, let's go Bigfoot hunting in an area where supposedly people see Bigfoot," that's going to be a really boring night.
Right.
I mean,
bring fishing poles.
Unless you just like run around the woods, which I don't mind, but.
Well, that's the other thing is, like, they go hunting for, deer and turkeys, and it's like, how come nobody has ever been able to catch a Bigfoot before?
And why is all the footage grainy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why?
Good enough evidence.
I mean, yeah, there's hundreds and thousands and millions of creatures in this world, and they're all huntable. How come we have never caught one?
Well, I kind of have to go with something Josh Gates said the other day. There are still so many animals out there that have been thought to be extinct.
Right, they're just really good at hiding.
Right. It is quite possible that this is a different kind of bear. I mean, they found out that there was a bear that they thought was extinct in Russia that's still alive.
Mm-hmm.
This was an update to the Dyatlov Pass thing.
Very true.
Those people. And I mean, there are so many conspiracies to go along with just that one.
Right.
And how many of these things might possibly be government experiments gone wrong and escaped?
Who the heck knows?
I mean, Aberdeen Proving Ground is one of those places that they took all these experiments to. It's in the middle of Baltimore. And, if something gets out, who's even going to notice with all the crime?
I know.
Nobody's going to notice.
Right, we're all too busy killing each other to pay attention to that kind of stuff. So maybe it's a thing.
So we have overgone our time tonight, which is fine.
I apologize. I tend to do that.
It isn't you. I allot 2 hours, and I try not to go too far because people don't want to listen after so long.
Right, exactly.
So where can everybody find you? What salon are you at, and where can everybody find you?
Oh, well, I work at Vogue Salon in having a brain fart. It's been a long week, guys. Sorry. Weldon Spring. Weldon Spring, Missouri. And it's called Vogue Salon. We each run our own business within the business. So we're each independent contractors. But if you go to my Facebook, I believe my website is on there, my Instagram as well. So, there's that. And then I have a YouTube channel for my tarot. I have not done anything on it in almost a year. It's been a very, very, very crazy year. So I haven't had much chance to get on there and do some readings. But once things chill a little bit more and I'm not so crazy busy, then I'll probably get back on there and start doing some more YouTube stuff. But I'm also there under the Savvy Saggy. And you can just type in my first and last name and that'll probably pop up. But yeah, you most likely can get a hold of me on Facebook or Instagram.
That's how I get you. So,
Yep.
or in person. But
Yeah.
since you said Weldon Spring, have you been out to see the petroglyphs in the caves in Weldon Springs?
I'm not.
I have to check that out. It's not too far
Next time you guys are in town, you'll have to take me down there.
I don't know where it is. I read about it and I told Ron, I said, sometime when we don't have something else to do, I'd like to go check it out. Because, we've
Sure.
seen petroglyphs all
I
over
didn't
the
know
country. Yeah, I don't think a lot of people knew about them. That's the thing.
I didn't even know about it, and I live here.
You wouldn't even think about petroglyphs in that part of Missouri. Maybe along the Missouri River where the caves are out towards Rockport. Or Roquefort.
Yeah, I mean,
everyone.
no, I didn't think any of that was out. That was just, no, I didn't even know.
Yep.
So next time you guys come into town, we'll have to visit.
Oh, yeah. Now that we know how close you are to family.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're kind of like family, so that all works out.
Absolutely.
Go Bigfoot drinking.
Yeah, I'm down for that.
The gun we bring for Bigfoot.
Elephant. Yep.
I'm down.
So I would like to thank all of you for coming and listening tonight to the Paranormal Pride with me, Ron and Mary. I think that we had a great show. If we don't talk to you guys next week, please have a Merry Christmas and a great holiday. But at this point, look forward to seeing us next Monday at 7 p.m. unless I tell you different. And you can catch us here on the Bill of Rights Network, the Paranormal Pride, Facebook and YouTube pages, the Denise Pridemore LinkedIn page, Things Network, as well as Temple of Phoenix Rising Entertainment Facebook pages. Sometimes you can find us on Rumble, not tonight, but you can also find us on Dark Realm TV on Roku and check that out. Join us tomorrow night at 5 p.m. Central when our guest is Big Jim Jones from Catonsville, Maryland. We're going to talk to him about the paranormal. We've had some similar experiences and some similar in the same places back in Baltimore. He's also, if you guys were here before when we had him on, he also builds cigar box guitars. And he is also, I believe that he's an ex-police officer. So we should have lots and lots of good stuff to talk about with Big Jim Jones tomorrow night. And you can catch us every place that I've listed here to see that show tomorrow night. So please check us out around 5 p.m. Central for Paranormal Nation Radio, Not So Normal with me, Ron and Carl. So you guys all have a great night and enjoy your holiday season. Good night.
Right.
Bye, guys.